What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos, and welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table. I am joined by none other than the regular good guests of the show, Sol and Ignacio. How you doing today, fellas?
Slightly on the hungover side after Crown Jewel. I mean, it was like 4 in the afternoon here. Didn't finish with the boys until 11 at night. So a lot of drinking, a lot of discussions. I'm sure people have seen the Republic reaction talk of all the guys there talking. Some things were said. A lot of people agree. A lot of people disagree. And I guess I'm going to face the consequences of my actions.
I think it's fair to say. I think that's fair to say. Definitely. It's definitely popping off in the WRC, the Wrestling Republic community. So I would say. But yeah, like I said, we have a jam-packed episode for you guys. We're gonna be talking about obviously some moments that happened at the Crown Jewel. Obviously the diverse thoughts of the show as well. We're also going to be talking about the status of the women's tag team titles, the way they've been handling that lately, especially at Crown Jewel. We're going to dive into that, and as well as the main event, because of the diversity of people's thoughts on the show. Did that save the show, or was it a complete dud? So, yeah, and also Ignacio wants to have a little shooting season on certain comments that has been on the Wrestling Republic's live stream. So I can't wait to hear this. That should be fun. So yeah, as always, without further ado, let us take it to the table. And there's Ignacio with the zoom in. There you go.
Oh.
All right, what the? Oh my, so it's just already. All right, so we all know his thoughts on Crown Jewel. So yeah, less than 24 hours ago, Crown Jewel happened. As a whole, we're not going to be going obviously into every match that happened, because obviously our boys are the creators on the Wrestling Republic show. Kobe and Clark, they also gave their thoughts on the show. But as an overall, let me gauge what you guys thought. As overall, what did you think of the show? Was it good? Was it a dud? What was your thoughts on it? Let's go with Soul first.
Oh God, I mean, if I had to just say good and bad, all the matches, Brock and Lesnar bad. The women tag match was bad. Judgment Day versus AJ Styles and the OC was mid. Bianca and Bayley was the match of the night for me. Excellent match. Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross was great as well in the steel cage. The tag match between the Usos and the Brawling Brutes, I think, was just mid as well. And then Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. Right, it was good for what it was, right? Like I said before, it's a showcase match. You're going to be playing 2K. This is the match that's going to appear as like your toilet break one. That's going to have one unlock, and it's going to be the arena. That's what it's going to be. But I mean, to be fair, Logan, as a person, don't like him. As I said before, athlete, yeah, he was doing great shit there. He was doing the frog splash, the buckshot lariat on the side of the ring he did as well, and then everything. But I mean, hey, kudos to him because he's gone through a lot of injuries now. He's like injured 3 things right now, if I'm correct. Because
yeah, he is messed up.
He's put the work in and he's paid the price and he's done well. Look, don't like the guy and everything that, but he's done well for an athlete. He's done well.
No, I agree. What about you, Ignacio? What's your thoughts? Was it good for you? Was it a pass? Was it mid? What's your thoughts?
It was subpar. See, this is what I brought up about a couple weeks ago or a week ago, is that now WWE they're squeezing too much pay-per-views, premium live events, and in such what this is going to be like. We're going to have 3 with like an 8 or 6 or 8 week period, right? Because we had Extreme Rules a couple weeks ago, and then we have Saudi Arabia, and now Survivor Series. War Games is coming up in 3 weeks, which I'll give off a little bit what I think about that. But so we're continuing storylines. It looks like when PLE's premium live events should be either the end, right, of major storylines going on, but I think that's left up to the big 4, big 5, I guess. But I thought the card of the pay-per-view was subpar. Some poor finishes, like with Lashley and Brock Lesnar. I thought that was a poor finish, but obviously it's designed to continue the story between them, and it looks like they're putting Lashley, moving him heel, right? And I think the cage match, we had another poor finish there. I thought the match was good between this was my problem with that match, was that Cross and McIntyre they're big guys, but they don't work like Sheamus and Gunther. Like, they don't lay their shit in. I think they're a little bit too timid.
Yeah.
And Cross was a little bit timid in this match. I thought it was okay, but could have been better. No blood, right? Because it's WWE, it's a cage match, but we don't got blood, right? And if that's going to be the case with War Games, then they shouldn't have it, because the cage match equals blood, in my opinion. But I mean, if they're not going to do it, then they shouldn't do it. But I thought it was okay, but it had a poor finish. And I didn't get the dynamic between Cross and Scarlett at first. I thought that because Cross for a little bit was kind of trying to play like a chicken shit heel a little bit. But now I get the dynamic with him and Scarlett, because now they're a team. If he wins, she wins, right? So it's just kind of like I get the dynamic they're trying to play. I didn't understand it at first. Now I get it, but it was a match that was played with a poor finish. Also, the Lashley and Lesnar match. And we'll get into a couple of matches individually and what I think, but the girls tag match was nonsensical. I could have done without that. Logan Paul and Reigns was I think, I don't want to call it. To me, in my opinion, it was probably the best match of the night. For I have a different outlook on it from what the other guys said last night, which we'll get into. But overall, I think it was subpar. And Triple H era, this is what, his third pay-per-view or what have you, under his regime or what have you. We need to step it up a little bit. But I think where he's going to redeem himself is the Royal Rumble. I think that's where that's what we're really waiting for.
Fair enough. I think this was his fourth one, because
Fourth, okay.
SummerSlam, even though much obviously he didn't put the card together, but there was his first major one. Then it was Extreme Rules, Clash of the Castle. No, sorry, SummerSlam, Clash of the Castle, Extreme Rules. Now this. So yeah, in my personal opinion, I think this was probably out of the four, this was his weakest, in terms of quality. If anything, it almost kind of felt almost like a Vince show all over again in terms of how the outcomes were. I agree with the Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar match. I thought that obviously the first one was that was at the Royal Rumble. Obviously, that was that?
Yeah, that was Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble. So obviously, I thought that obviously Triple H wanted to have his take on having those two behemoths, and just do what they do best. But it was basically what we've seen already. It was a spam fest of finishers. The finish was just ridiculous. I think it was just a very lame way to protect both of them. Make them look like either one of them look like a sucker. They really played it safe. I didn't like the finish on that. The women's tag team match, this is going to be one of my topics later on, which we'll get into. I don't like the fact they had to hot potato that title, especially with the outcome that they didn't really they didn't follow through with the women's the Raw women's title match between Bianca Belair and Bayley. I thought that was pretty much just pointless. What is this issue with Nikki Cross? It's absolutely ridiculous. Drew McIntyre, Karrion Kross. It was fine what it was. I could care less for this feud. I'll be honest. It's whatever. I didn't realize Drew McIntyre was battling the flu whilst he was in that match. I thought he was really messed up during that match. But anyway, fair enough. Go.
He did. Well, he did all right. I mean, it was good. It was all right. I think it could have been better. But this is the thing, is that I think Cross should have went over, right? And if they're gonna have a third match, he should go over, because this is the thing. Is that now we need people lined up for Roman until WrestleMania, or at least until the Royal Rumble. And it didn't look like we got anybody lined up for him.
Yeah, but I mean, McIntyre needed a win somewhere. He's been on a losing streak. He lost to Reigns. He lost to Karrion. Like, they had to give him a win somewhere if he's meant to be part of the top 6 on SmackDown, if you know what I mean. So they had to give him. So they are going to have a rubber match in this, and I would assume a lot of it, McIntyre's probably going to get the W in that. Where that leads Karrion Kross, fuck knows. But yeah, I think that's why they just played it safe for him. Judgment Day and the OC, mid, like you said. So I forgot about Strowman and Omos. I could care less about that. Absolute
Tell
dire.
you what though, that match surprised me. I honestly thought it was going to be a train wreck, but it was somewhat mid.
Train wreck or not, I just can't stand Omos. I think I'd rather see Strowman and Great Khali than Omos.
No, well, this was the thing with this match that I saw that I was kind of impressed with is that like Omos was a big guy match, right? It's a rock hitting a rock, but like Strowman like sold good because dude, like Strowman and Omos, like that was crazy the first time I saw it, how much like Omos towers over Strowman. Because Strowman's like legit 6'8". So this guy is like a legit 7'3", 7'4", or whatever. But like Strowman sold pretty good, and Omos was like, we saw like a lot like crowd engagement. Like he was like signaling the crowd and trying to get them into it and talking shit while he was banging on Strowman, and he was engaging the camera. So that's all stuff like Triple H and like MVP have been coaching him on. So I thought he wrestled like a big man, and he's still having difficulty selling, trying to sell as a big man. But I thought like it just as far as like he was aware of where the camera was because they obviously coached him on it. So I thought all those things were good. So I don't know, maybe they can get something out of him. I thought it was kind of like an improvement for what it was. It wasn't going to be 5-star Tokyo Dome, whatever, you know, Dave Meltzer. But I mean, to me, it was just a good big man match. And I think they're just now they did it to give Strowman the win because I think they're lining him up for Roman probably at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like you need to give him at least a title shot. Like obviously, don't make him beat Roman, but we don't need another title run with him. The Usos and Brawling Brutes. That was a SmackDown main event. There was nothing special. I mean, it was whatever.
Well, I was going to say there, how do you think about we're going to get New Day and the Usos 45th episode match on this coming SmackDown? Because remember, what did we say in our first ever show we did together at day one this year? You know, how many times have we seen this shit before?
Yeah. I mean, they're solely just doing this because I think once they beat New Day, that's when they've eclipsed the New Day's record.
Yeah.
That's the sole reason for it. So for that, I'll give it a pass. I mean, I find their matches more entertaining than John Cena versus Randy Orton 25. You know what I mean? I don't mind seeing them. They have great chemistry. I wish Big E was there to but I would love to see that. But
yeah, I don't know how his injury is, but do you think there's any? I don't know if there's any chance he could turn up on Friday.
I don't think he's going to turn up. I think if anything, if he does return, I would say save that for the Royal Rumble. That would be a great place for him to return at the Royal Rumble. Yeah. I wouldn't say for him to win, but definitely be amongst like the final four or something. Yeah, definitely save him for the Rumble. Or he might just turn up to, maybe in the crowd. Who knows? But yeah, it's I'm cool with it. It's been a while. I think it's been a decent gap that I haven't seen them two face each other yet. So I'm cool with it. What else was there? Yeah, now for me, Bianca versus Bayley. That fell flat for me because the finish was I didn't like that Bayley. I was hoping that Bayley was gonna finally take the title but she obviously didn't. So it kind of makes the hot potato win with damage control completely pointless. It makes her inferior. It wouldn't surprise me if they try and run this. They probably like it's gonna be pretty much the end of damage control. Like thingy, Kai and Sky just turn on Bayley. But yeah, they're all over the place with damage control right now. Certain spots completely fell flat for me in that match, like the thing with the golf cart that she was trying to run her over, and the thing was going at 2 miles per hour, and Bianca was just like, "Oh, don't hit me."
We gotta hear the driving, the laws. We can't go over the speed limit, man. Come on, that's just sensible driving.
I thought it was just like a lame way for them to actually say, "Oh, look, women can drive in Saudi Arabia." Anyway, it was just it was really, yeah. I feel that match fell flat for me, and then they ran their little thing going on with a lot of innovative part at the end, but yeah, I thought that was one of the weakest matches. Highlight for me was obviously Reigns and Logan Paul. I knew that Paul was going to put on a great output. It was cool to see his entourage get completely annihilated. I didn't like I saw Jake Paul at the end. I think he's worse than Logan, to be honest. But yeah, I didn't like that. There was like the way he was punching the Usos. It looked like he just was afraid to follow through. It was just looked really lame.
Yeah, I think someone took a super kick as well. I don't know who, and it looked utterly terrible.
Yes, yeah. It was.
Like,
the
honestly, they didn't need the whole entourage thing. If they just kept it Logan and Reigns, it would have been absolutely solid. But no, you have to have a messy finish just to get the social media stars in that people recognize.
Yeah, that's what it was really. I like the table spot. I like the part that when Roman Reigns was calling out all the other YouTubers, KSI and Mr. Beast and stuff. That was pretty cool. But yeah, the right person won, obviously. And yeah, it was. I think that was pretty much the only interesting match, in my opinion, of that whole pay-per-view. Really. Oh, sorry, premium live event.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, Cody was Clark was obviously saying his thoughts. He thought that obviously we're heading to the comments of what of the fallout of Crown Jewel, and obviously
I'll just say for our viewers right now who've not seen it, myself, Clark, and Kobe, the co-host of Republic Ramble, Ben Allison, the head of Wrestlerholic himself, and Anthony Riccicardi, who's our opinion writer, we're all on a wee call. We discussed our events after watching it live together, and a few things were said, agreements, and I think we're going to go through some of them because little wee Specky boy down there is unhappy with some of the comments.
So yeah, but let's follow into that, shall we? So yeah, I'm just reading off the comments that was obviously on the on our Instagram page. If you haven't followed us, make sure you follow us at Wrestling Republic. So yeah, obviously Clark was giving his 2-2s over the Clark, Kobe, and Sol was clashing over their thoughts on the Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul match, saying it was match of the night. Some of y'all disagreed. One of these highlighted comments, someone should pin this. So obviously Sol wasn't really digging it, so they said Sol hates WWE, but that's his opinion. Just get that sort of vibe from Sol. And then someone else replied underneath, that's because he does hate WWE. And there's quite a few likes on there as well. So it's not just them actually agreeing with it's not just saying that. So what was your thoughts when you saw that? Is this true? Are you that anti WWE Sol?
Okay. Let's clarify this whole thing up here. And all my fans of the Soul Society, my fans all know the truth, so they're fine. I don't have to address it to them. But I will say this. I got into wrestling in 2019, watching old stuff in top 10 lists while I was studying at university. And then I found AEW. I was really invested, and I knew WWE existed, and I wanted to check that out as well. And the storylines at that point, the storyline I remember at that point was goddamn Bobby Lashley, Lana, and Rusev.
Oh, we all loved that one. The cockroach.
Yeah, so you can't blame me for being like, oh, I'm going to be super involved in this when that kind of storyline's going on, when I can watch, Omega, the Elite, and all that great stuff. Do I hate WWE at the end of the day? I don't hate it. I just don't have a childhood connection like some people do, or a passionate drive for it. I will say Clash of the Castle is definitely going to be a contender for maybe one of my top. There's 2 pay-per-views this year that I'm fighting for the first place in my mind right now. One's WWE, one's AEW. I don't know which is going to make the top of my list.
Can't wait to do that list. Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be tough. But I am loving what Triple H is doing with his era. He's changed it a lot, and there's a lot more engagement. I love even NXT. I didn't watch the whole black and gold brand. I remember when the whole Wednesday Night War was on, I was obviously cheering for AEW side, and every time I would see them beat NXT, I would have a good giggle and a whistle. But I'm liking what they're doing now. I think Braun Breaker is the best thing on the NXT show right now. Even Joe Gacy as well is a talented individual. Maybe the next Bray Wyatt of his creative mindset that he's done on the indies as well. We could see more great stuff with him. So, I don't hate WWE. I just don't have a passionate connection to the product and the brand, technically, unlike AEW.
That's a fair call. Everyone has their own starting points. That doesn't say that you hate it. You just it's just going to take a little bit more time. And to be fair, like I said, yeah, you hit it on the nail on the head when you got into AEW. The stuff that was on WWE's programming was absolutely freaking terrible. And so that's why a lot of people jumped to AEW, and then it was booming. We all know the history with that, so that totally makes sense. Could you actually see yourself straddling between the two promotions, or do you think like, you know, your heart is going to be still with AEW?
I'll tell you what, there was a point, there was a bit of a straddling point, and that was probably just beginning of the pandemic era when I actually, you know, I was buying the network and I was just watching all the old documentary stuff like religiously, you know, all the old WWE Chronicles, the 24 series. I was so hyped for those because they were just really, like, I think the favorite 24 ones I watched were like Keith Lee's one was really good.
Yes.
Yeah, Keith Lee's one was excellent. Yeah. Big E had one as well, which was really good as well.
Yes.
And like the Chronicle series as well. I know Paige had a really good one on there that I watched as well, which detailed her learning about having to retire and all that as well. And I really like that. But then, you know, like money's cheap, like, you know, money's tight and all that. And even back then when I was a student at universities, I couldn't pay for like Sky Box Office or stuff like that to watch Raw and SmackDown live every night at 1 a.m. You know, I would have to catch it. Like I would just watch like YouTube highlight clips of like the show that are like under 30 minutes and just get the whole gist, even social media as well. It wasn't until like the first pay-per-view I ever bought was Full Gear 2020 because I just found out how to. I didn't really look into how to actually watch the stuff live. You know, it was always like highlight clips and all that. And then I'm watching that show, even though I know Full Gear 2020 isn't particularly the best show, I still really, really enjoyed it. And the first ever Dynamite I watched was the Mr. Brody Lee Celebration of Life show. And, you know, that hit me hard. That was a real one that I honestly felt like, yeah, I'm ride or dying with this brand. I got this true connection with it. So, I mean, again, money's tight right now. I would love to buy in the network again and pay the $19.99. I mean, I do it for New Japan. I've been watching like Royal Quest and that. Went back and watched the old Wrestle Kingdoms, the whole Kenny Omega and Okada trilogy. I watched all of that. That was exceptional. So I do want to watch WWE more regularly. I need to find something that's going to truly invest me in the product. And, you know, I love Drew. I love Karrion Kross. You know, Bray Wyatt is good as well, even if his promo Crown Jewel was just basically a repeat of what he's been doing regularly and it's getting a bit on the stale side.
Yeah.
Take time. Maybe if I attend another WWE live show, I might feel differently.
Okay. So not even the stuff with the Bloodline and Sami Zayn is not winning you over yet? Not even?
It's fun. I'll give them that. It's definitely fun. Like if I see that, I'm like, oh, that's really enjoyable. I like that with Sami. I don't know what it is about Roman. Maybe it's just because when I was watching it was still the old bandwagon. We hate Roman. He's the absolute worst. He's a wank pheasant. He's still athletically as a talent and as a wrestler, dude's phenomenal. He's truly great. But I don't know. I think it's just, you know, your jumping on point is going to be dear to you. It's going to be where you fully connect with your love of wrestling. And for me, that's just not even just AEW, you know, being elite as well. You know, going like I remember like a Full Gear 2020 match I was most hyped for was Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. Like that was that was my most hyped match because I thought Orange Cassidy was funny and awesome, and John Silver on BT was the most entertaining thing I've seen in years. I mean, I still remember when I found out like who Chris Jericho was from AEW. I didn't know who he was from WWE time. I found out about him because of AEW. I found out about Kenny Omega because of AEW. I found out about a lot of the, you know, the older legend guys from AEW that were featured, like DDP and stuff like that. And Cody I learned about, and I watched All In and learned about everything there. So it's just my jumping on point. You know, I know people were born with the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, and then are just like, we ride or die with WWE. That's a fair point. I just jumped on at the wrong time. Maybe if I jumped on at a better point when Seth was doing his thing in like 2015 with the Authority, or maybe jumping on at just a better point. It might things might be different, but that's just with me and my jumping on point.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. So at least you cleared the air with these guys. Hopefully, once this gets clipped and people see this, they will understand. Okay.
Yeah, and then there'll be people in the comments like fake news. His opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, Whatever. Anyway, so what about you, Ignacio? You wanted to obviously want to have a little shoot with some of the comments that you've seen. Could you enlighten us which comments really grinded your gears?
Oh God.
Well, we're on the topic of with the main event, right? Like Logan Paul and Roman Reigns. They'll start there. So Sol was right, and this was like an attraction match because that's what it was, right? It was for the Saudi show. It was an attraction match. It's Logan Paul's third match. Now, I think where they went wrong was kind of a little bit as far as the buildup. There really wasn't much for it, but I like the way the angle they took is that Logan Paul, he's a gimmick boxer, right? But he's an athlete. He's a legitimate athlete. I mean, he has professional boxing experience, right? Even though he fought Mayweather when Mayweather was like, I don't know, 50 years old or whatever the fuck he was. But I mean, it's still Mayweather, right? And then, but this guy, they went with the story that all I need is just one shot because I'm a boxer, I'm a trained boxer, and all I need is one shot, which is I thought it was, given the situation, was the angle probably where they needed to go, and they recognized it and they went for it. Bro, this was match of the night, and it was a great performance or whatever, but it's a not a gimmick match, but it was a showcase match, right, to get some attention. Now, this is where I had an issue was the aftermath. Number one, there's too much interference. They need to pull back on all the interference WWE does in the matches, bro. There's just too much interference and gaga. Like, I don't like Jake Paul getting his own entrance and stuff, and it's just like if he would have came down to the ring with Logan like a boxing or a UFC match, and then like Roman had Paul Heyman and like the Usos in the court, that would have been pretty cool, right? Like two camps. But instead, everybody gets their own entrances, and everybody runs down, and they pull the goofs over the railing. Dude, this match didn't need all that stuff. Like I think Roman could have beat Logan legitimately 1, 2, 3 in the ring with a little bit of gaga, but it was just way too much, right? But for what it was good, and I liked it. But where I had an issue when our colleagues were discussing on where were they going to go from here. Dude, is like, okay, they haven't lined up proper contenders for Roman. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing at one point, is that whenever Roman defends the title, it's special. So you can kind of build up a contender for him. So the topic went on to like, well, maybe Sammy's going to get a shot eventually, and he's going to get it in Montreal. And maybe they'll give him a run. Dude, I think it was Anthony that brought it up. Or was it Clark? Dude,
maybe it was Clark. I feel that's a Clark thing to say.
that's delusional, dude. It's like they're not going to give Sammy a run, and the excuse was they give him. Well, I think Anthony said, "Well, you can't give somebody the title because Roman is by then he's going to have the title for like 800 or 1,000 days or somewhere, I don't know, in between. You can't give somebody the title for just to get a pop." Whoever takes the title off of Roman, it has to be somebody legitimate, a legitimate contender, and somebody who's going to be like the face of the company, right? Yeah. Well, if you give Sami Zayn the title, even especially if it's in Montreal, it's going to be just for a pop. Like Sammy's not going to carry the company or go on the morning shows and do all these interviews and do all these podcasts or whatever. It would just be just for a pop. Just like they did it with Big E. With Big E, it was just for a pop because he deserved it. Like, dude, it doesn't matter if you deserve it. Like, it's who's going to be the face of the company and carry the flag for that company. So they're not going to Big E Sami Zayn. You know, that was a delusional comment, and for them to believe that was just ridiculous. And I'm not taking a shot at them, but I mean, it's just.
I think someone in the party also mentioned Jey Uso should dethrone Roman, and I disagree.
No.
I mean,
that was so. Who brought that up?
I think that might have been Kobe, maybe.
All right, so like I didn't have so much of an issue with that, but the issue I have with that was that it was done way back when. At first, but it's not like you can't do it again. But dude, I've been saying for the past 5 years, obviously not here, whatever. I might have brought it up when I was on Meeks' show, but dude, like 4 or 5 years, like I think Jey Uso could have been like a star. Like I think he has the presence and more the attitude, the kind of like the little it factor
now,
and so forth. So
100%.
when they gave him so when they gave him the shot with Roman, when Roman started off as the tribal chief and so forth, and they were giving him that push, like, dude, I'm like, man, they're gonna turn this guy into a star, like, because it was believable. But I think it's just that's kind of worn out, right? And I think they're too far deep into the storyline, maybe where you can go there. Although you can always change it. But again, I don't think Jey Uso is the person that would take the title off of Roman and go for a big run to carry the company. I think it is going to be like Cody Rhodes.
I think so.
Or maybe Bray Wyatt. I don't know, but like definitely Cody. But dude, they're not going to give Sammy the title. It's just that was that was ridiculous. I didn't that was delusional, and the people who said that need wrestling therapy. I
think Sammy will definitely get a shot at it. I think because like the way how like over he is, and this is obviously it's happened organically. It's sort of natural for Sammy to get a shot. When the match does happen, obviously there'll be quite a few false finishes. But yeah, he's not. I don't think he's the guy to beat Roman. He is the guy, along with Kevin Owens, to win the tag team titles from the Usos, though.
Yeah,
I'd be cool with that. That'd be cool.
Like I said in the watch part, I think in Montreal, it should be Kevin Owens and Roman for the title. There's some shenanigans, and Sammy is about to protect Kevin Owens, and Roman's like, "Oh, you flinched there for a minute. Can't be trusted." Bam, knocks him out. And then it's going to be like Sammy and Kevin Owens versus the Uso at Mania. That's what I said the initial plan should be the Montreal Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, but that's where I was going. Was that it's just like you said, Anthony said, like, well, they shouldn't give somebody to the title to do the pop. Well, if they give it to Sammy, that's just going to be for a pop, and they'll give it right back to Roman or whatever. It's just there's a little bit of contradiction there. Just in my opinion, I don't know. That's like.
Yeah, I think in terms of the next person is to be the face of the company, the only person is definitely Cody Rhodes. He's the one that's he's ready to go to that show. Was it the big one on TBS and stuff? He's the one. Sorry,
I thought it was cancelled.
Maybe it has, but I'm just saying, like, he's already been on TV. He's got that face.
Yeah, he was on the successful Roads to the Top. That was the greatest show of all time.
Well, dude, that's the thing is that with WWE especially is all into all types of entertainment and getting their and that's another thing I was going to mention. So Cody's the perfect guy because like he does those shows and the reality stuff and the movies and rubs elbows with celebrities and politicians and stuff. So
he's the next Miz.
Miz at another level. He's the next, like he was the perfect guy that Vince McMahon thought was, well, this is the guy. He wears the suit all the time. He looks professional, right? He's the guy that can be the next face of the company. But let me go get into this, and this is gonna bleed into the other comments that I took issue with. So like an issue, So that's just like I think WWE does the best at trying to grow their audience as whatever petty thing they try to do, like bring celebrities in, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's the thing I have is that maybe we can get somebody at Wrestling Republic or whoever, but like, so Logan Paul has like 30 million subscribers on YouTube and his other social media stuff that he does, right? But they're trying to get 30 million people to watch WWE, which they don't. But let's say, for example, 5% will actually watch the Roman and Logan Paul match, right? Which is like 1.5 million people of his followers. Let's say they watch the match or the pay-per-view. Let's say they watch the pay-per-view. Well, all they're going to see is, like, well, we'll check this stuff out. Like, we'll check this WWE stuff out. Or maybe they watched it before and they want to tune into it again because Logan Paul's on there and Vince McMahon's not there anymore. But, okay, so we'll look at it. Well, all they're going to see, or what they'll see is they'll see stupid shit like the golf cart in the girls' match and one girl locking another girl in a fucking treasure chest. And they'll be like, fuck this shit. This is stupid. I'm not going to watch this shit again. And I don't know why this guy's doing this. So that's bleeding over to the other comments that that Bianca Belair and and Bayley was the match of the night. That Home Depot shop project of a wrestling match where they drove golf carts down to the ring and locked each other in pink treasure chests and last woman standing. This was ridiculous and the most troublesome match and embarrassment of the whole evening. These two have no chemistry together. Bayley is flatter than 4 o'clock. These people shouldn't be together. These people shouldn't be together. As far I'm talking about Damage Control, like it was cool when they came out. Like I get it. Like it was cool to see Io Shirai and Dakota out. But dude, they have no chemistry together. Like they're doing it.
I'm trying to agree.
They're doing it to elevate them, try to get the rub off of Bayley, but it's obviously not working. And they give them a lot of TV time for this.
Yes,
a lot. Like they're on both shows, all 3 shows, because I think they made a couple appearances on NXT.
Yeah,
and it's just not working. So they need to back off this. And the issue is that somebody, I think it was Clark that mentioned it, or maybe Anthony or both, that because of their history with NXT, they're good and all this stuff, and there's miscast. But dude, you got to remember that like only a third of the audience that watches Raw and SmackDown watches NXT. Like only, what is it? Their rating is like 500,000 in and around
500,000, I think, 600,000.
Yeah, so that's like a third of the audience that watches Raw and SmackDown. Not everybody watches Raw and SmackDown because not everybody watches NXT because they think it's minor league and it's the school, which it is. So they didn't know who these people were, and then they show up on TV and they're like, who the fuck are they? And we're gonna educate them. And they don't do good promos. Their matches have been subpar. They're not highlighted. And I think they're kind of miscast. And this wasn't a great way to bring them in. Not only that, Bayley, she's a strong promo, but I think these two are bringing her down. And she just wasn't the character that she was before she got injured. And they're counting on Bianca to carry the shows and to carry the division, but she's not. Right? Because she's still green and she's still got some development. Not only that, Alexa's rotten. She's always been rotten. Asuka's been a joke, and she's kind of acts like a spaz, and that's why she's a great wrestler, but she acts like a spaz, and that's it's comedy character. And on the other show on SmackDown, it's not doing any better. Like Raquel Rodriguez she's a legit 6 foot tall, but all she does is smile and show her traps, right, or her wings, and that's dude. And they give her this generic Mexican music to come out to when she should be a monster crushing everybody. And the only female star they have that legitimately looks like a star, she's not even wrestling, and that's Rhea Ripley. And
she's great. She's so
Ronda,
great right now.
She's tremendous. And then Ronda seems like she's getting a little bit more comfortable with her character, and they're doing something with her and Shayna, and hopefully they can do well together. But that this division is in need of like Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha bad. Like now, like they need to show up on TV this coming week if they can. But dude, this match was embarrassing. Like it was awful. These people shouldn't be wrestling each other anymore. And I hope they end this, this coming week. It was bad. It was terrible.
Yeah, sunshine and rainbows. Fuck me.
I wouldn't have minded it if. It was all set up for them. They made flipping Dakota Kai and Io Sky lose the titles. They win it back at Saudi. Fair enough. It was through some shenanigans from Nikki Cross because that story does not make sense. And then why can't Bayley win it? Like she defended it in Saudi, previously. Why not keep the streak going? Why not make her have like that's the thing they stopped doing now. They stopped doing these little streaks. And then, like they could have built up like some type of streak that she's the only person that's won and consecutively at these Saudi shows. Make her be like a special attraction of some kind.
We're missing a lot of women from the roster though. Like, where's Lacey Evans, Carmella?
Remember she recently had a miscarriage.
Oh yeah, apologies there.
Tamina.
Tamina, yeah, they don't rate Tamina. I don't know why they just don't rate her. Dana
I
Brooke.
will ask you, who do you think should dethrone Bianca for the Raw Women's Championship?
Now I don't know, because Bayley was set up like perfectly for her to be the perfect person. Now I honestly don't know. It looks like they're angling to make Nikki Cross take her or somehow. I don't know. And now
At this point, screw it. Have Mandy Rose come back from NXT and just take over.
She is actually a worthy opponent for sure, definitely right now, because I think she's been booked decently. I don't know what's going on with Alexa, and because I remember there was a flash of Wyatt's logo show up when it was just before their match.
Yeah,
I don't know.
pretty much just a leg kill.
This is,
and you forgot you back.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing with Mandy Rose. Like, I'm surprised that they haven't called up Mandy Rose and that little faction up already to the main roster, because they get a lot of criticism because they're phony fucking vignettes and all that stuff. But she's obviously a lot more confident in her character and who she is than she was before when she got to NXT. Like, she's marketable, and she 100%. Can social media views and all that bullshit, and she's not terrible in the ring. Like, she's not like,
she's better than
she's not what was her name? Rusev. She's not Lana. Like, she's okay. She can work a little bit, and she's got the attitude and she's got the confidence. So I think Triple H can do something with her there on the main roster. So maybe with her little, like, her and her little bag of minions that she has, those characters have chemistry. That's the chemistry. Say what you want about them as far as what they're doing in NXT and stuff, but I think they're good together, and they actually have chemistry, more chemistry than Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Damage Control. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think maybe Mandy Rose can help them out. I mean, I wouldn't imagine myself saying that before, but dude, it's just like this division's just like kind of all over the place, and I don't know.
Yeah,
they need help.
Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction, they've pretty much done it all. Like, they're pretty much the female version of Undisputed Era right now. It would only make sense for them to move up. I know from last I heard that the Toxic Attraction, the two girls, they are definitely officially part of the SmackDown roster. Okay. Obviously, they dibble dabble in between NXT and SmackDown. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Mandy Rose, because even she's running out of opponents on NXT as well. Obviously, there's way more contenders. Obviously, if it wasn't Mandy Rose, I wouldn't mind if was it Zoe Starks would be a good depth. She'd be great to take the title off Bianca. But obviously, that would take a bit of some build up, 100%.
Well, like, if they move them up next week, like, they're gonna have to build it. It's gonna be a
100%. Yeah.
It's a couple months build, but yeah, it's just like this match. I'm talking the Bianca and Bayley. Like, it wasn't a 3.5 or 3/4 or whatever Rubik.
What did it rate it? Hold on.
I'll pull up the graphs.
Whatever it was, dude. Any match where there's a golf cart involved isn't 3.5 or 4 stars.
No. Do not dismiss when it was Roman Reigns against Kevin Owens when he ran over Kevin Owens. That was.
Whoa! You say that? I'm thinking of the time Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy ran over Sammy Guevara in the golf cart.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Come on.
That was the best one. Shut the fuck up.
They were the best.
Oh my goddamn life.
No, I agree with you.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say, you dare disagree with me there.
No. I'm just saying, those two are great. Like, they had golf carts. Those matches were great. So, yeah. I don't know if they were low fuel with that or it was an electric golf cart.
Got some good golf cart ones. Ortiz and Ruby Soho versus Tay and Sammy at All Out. That was a fun golf spot there.
Yeah.
And I think they ran it back at a stadium stampede where Sammy had to run the length of a goddamn football field when he was being chased on a golf cart. So, and fun parts of it. But yeah, we gave Wrestling Public gave Bayley versus Belair 4.25 stars.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What? No. I gotta run this.
What is your malfunction? What is wrong with you? I mean, what is your malfunction?
No.
So I'm guessing you guys don't like 4.25 out of 5 stars then?
Not for that match. Hell no.
Let's pull up all the stars rating then, and I'll get your guys' reaction. Obviously, I didn't pick these myself. This was done by our reviewing team. So, Lashley and Lesnar was a 3.25 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
All right. Io Sky, Dakota Kai versus Bliss and Asuka was a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
McIntyre versus Cross was 3.75 out of 5 stars.
No. Cap.
OC versus Judgment Day was 3.5.
Cap.
Strowman versus Omos was a 3 out of 5 star match.
Okay, fine.
Usos versus the Brit was a 4 out of 5 star match.
Cap.
We've mentioned Bayley and all that, the amazing 4.25. And Reigns versus Logan Paul was a 4.5 out of 5 star match.
Okay.
Not even I would give it that. It's like this. Look, okay, like at least at least they've come up with a Rubik, right? So it's just, but dude, it's just, you can't. It's all,
I mean,
opinions or whatever, but I mean, it's just, dude, that these matches weren't that good. I think that's the issue. It's kind of like with Meltzer and Alvarez and all these. It's just like we're saying, okay, these guys put the effort in, so they deserve a participation trophy. When fucking, so like we'll give them 3 stars, and that's their participation trophy. That was it. I'm talking about like as a wrestling community, like if the wrestling fans keep on telling WWE and stuff that this stuff is okay, well then they keep doing it. Like, you know what I mean? So not just us. I'm talking about like as a wrestling, like the wrestling fans community, IWC. Not only that, but I mean like it's like, okay, we'll forgive you for this hokey shit because the wrestlers are risking their lives or whatever, so they get participation. No, dude, it's like that ladder match was terrible. That would be like a negative star for me. Like that fucking ladder match for what it was. The last woman standing match.
Oh,
like that was that finish with Lashley and Lesnar. That's like, dude, that's a star because of the finish and the work. Like Lesnar and Lashley, 2 legitimate MMA guys, should be coming out and at least laying their shit in. You know what I mean? And beating the shit out of each other for at least half the match.
That was a Vince match. Because we've seen it play out all the time with them when it comes to those kind of matches. It was a Vince match, and it's weird. It's played it safe. It was really weird. I was expecting something different.
So my thing is like, why? Like, it's like I would like to ask, because I watched a little bit of the show, this live stream yesterday, but it's just like, why do you think Bayley and Bianca is a 3 or 4 1/4 match? Like, dude, it just wasn't good. Like, why do you think it was good? Or like, why do you think was it Lesnar and Lashley was 3 3/4, 3 1/2? Or dude, that's not good. Like, it's just like
I didn't make the fucking rhetoric. I'm not reviewing. Bro. What the fuck? I mean, that's a good idea though. Maybe my goal for 2023 will be get on the review team so I can give every AEW match a 5 out of 5 and piss you off.
Oh god.
Orange Cassidy versus Brandon Cutler, 5 out of 5 match.
Ignacio would have a freaking meltdown. Anyway.
I think he'd be able to see. The rage would give him hindsight vision.
Dude, it was just like, it's kind of like, it's phony, dude. Like, it's like the golf cart and stuff. It's just like, that stuff's not good. Like, but if we keep on, like, as a fan base, if we keep on showing or telling WWE, like, yeah, that's what we want to see. We like that 4.5, whatever stars, or the fans keep on saying it's okay, then they'll keep doing it. It's bullshit. Like, you know, that's dude, I don't like it.
You're standing outside the arena in fucking Riyadh just shouting like, golf carts are bad for business. What are you doing, you fool? Stop celebrating this shit. And everyone's like, yeah, we're part of the
like protest
product in. And it's like, no, change your minds, you fool. See the light.
All right. So obviously we pretty much dabbled into it previously. But I wanted to see
we ran out for like 30 minutes.
Say again?
We ran out for like 30 minutes. That's not a quick dabble. That's like what
I know, but I'm talking about this part. Basically, what I'm talking about is the tag team titles, the women's tag team titles. Obviously with the hot potatoing of it. Do you actually see any? Do you agree with what they did? Like, do you see any sense in it? Because I'm trying to make sense of what.
I think, and I agree with what Kobe said, that this was done to give the Saudi crowd a title match change, just to have a title change. That's what we think. You know, they took the belts off Damage Control. had the match in Saudi, give the Saudi crowd, a title change. I think that's what it was.
If that is the case, then that's freaking lame.
Yeah,
it's just good business, bro. It's just good business.
It's like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I think it was just a lame excuse to just try and put an extra match onto the card, because I think how many matches were there? It was like 6 matches. Was it 6?
Pull up the goddamn.
No, there was 8. There was 8 matches. So it's not there were lower matches. It's really, and there was no kickoff. So I'm just like, I don't know. It was really weird, but yeah, I just thought that was freaking nonsensical. I don't like this hot potato, especially when it doesn't pay off for something else that happened, that was going to happen during the night. But yeah, I've seen some people's, obviously going back on people's reviews, people saying this was probably the best. Some critics deemed this year's Crown Jewel the greatest Saudi Arabia show so far.
What?
No, it's not bar to pass.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, the last one where it had Edge and Seth Rollins,
which was really good. Yeah, the Elimination Chamber was terrible.
Yeah, the Elimination Chamber was terrible. Yeah.
I mean, hey, just think of this: Logan Paul's had better matches at Saudi than Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and Kane, and the Undertaker. I mean, Undertaker and Rusev apparently was all right.
Wait, say that again, sorry?
Wasn't Undertaker and Rusev pretty good, or was that another bad match for the Undertaker at Saudi?
It was solid. It wasn't Goldberg and Undertaker bad. It was fine. Rusev took care of Taker. Yeah, he took care of him. I just remember, even though it was in Saudi Arabia, it wasn't Crown Jewel. It was Elimination Chamber. That had the Hell in the Cell match. I think that's what happened. I was getting confused, but either way, to say it was one of the greatest, I don't know, maybe, but then that just shows how low the bar was, for it to surpass it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Leave your comments below as well if you agree, or do you think we're just anti WWE and soul has corrupted us to be AEW marks.
Welcome to the family.
But just before we wrap up, just I got a little post that Chris Jericho he basically replied to something that Braun Strowman, real name Adam Scherr, has tweeted. I was really out to you guys. He says, "Holy hell, Omos, can you believe we got 47 5 stars and reminded the people that no one cares about all these floppy floppers." Your favorite word, your favorite term, Ignacio. Giants. So obviously, yeah, giants and monsters are better than flippy flipper baggy groceries at Kroger. Hashtag What?
I think that's an American thing.
Fair enough. And then Chris Jericho got word of it. He obviously quote tweeted it and he said, "I used to bag groceries." And then obviously people are obviously just losing their shit on it. They're basically saying that, I would rather watch Jericho wrestle a grocery bag than have to watch Omos and Braun Strowman in the ring ever again. Braun can't catch a break. Go back to Toronto to bag groceries. Yeah, all this crazy stuff. So yeah, do you think that match was a 47 5-star match? So, and Ignacio.
I think there stands my point there, man. I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
Well, I think like Strowman shouldn't be making any of those comments. I
like how Strowman was like on the independents with Control Your Narrative, and he was like very into it and like humbled. And then as soon as he's left that, he's like, fuck them fuckers. I'm that Saudi blood money, bruh. Fuck you.
Oh, because someone actually wrote underneath his tweet saying all those flippy floppers can Russell circle around you and Omos, and then he replied to him saying, "Haha, really? Because they be in the main card in Saudi, but instead they're at a shit indie disco." What the fuck? Rude. You guys put on a great match. I haven't seen a match that well since Hogan and Andre at WrestleMania 3. Jesus Christ. And then he replies, I think that's a huge compliment because That is it. That is the standard for a big man match, and I think we moved the bar a little higher. Shut up, Braun. Shut up. No, you didn't.
Yeah,
Absolutely didn't. I mean, just take your
that's another guy.
money and go home.
That's another guy. Kind of like he just needs to stay off. I'm not saying I agree with Jericho, but it's just like that's another guy.
God forbid, Ignacio. Don't agree with Jericho. Don't.
Wow, I'm not saying that.
Respect the Ocho, man. Respect the Ocho. That's all I'm saying.
The flip flop stuff, like it's just the reason why it just looks too phony today. But I mean, he shouldn't be making those comments, dude. I mean, he's alienated every promotion or whatever from hiring him. But WWE, so it's just like stay off of there. Like without WWE, yeah,
wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Price tag is ridiculous, but stay off social media, Braun. Like you just come up with some bullshit. Like you cannot say that you was like the match of the night because no, you freaking wasn't. But yeah. On that note, we come to the end of the show, guys. The Crown Jewel roundup. And yeah, thank you very much, Ignacio and Soul, for joining us on this glorious episode. It's always great to have you guys back.
I'm fucking knackered.
As always, make sure you follow us on that Wrestling Republic on Instagram and official_TITTT for all the latest updates, clips, and thoughts and possible rants on the show. Make sure you obviously like, comment, and subscribe on the channel. Goes a long way. And be sure to check out all the other creators as well, Wrestling Ramble, the Soul Sessions as well, and many more to come as well. Any updates from you, Soul, for your Soul fandom? I can't remember what was it?
The Soul Society, my fan. I love those guys. There might be some stuff on the way. There might be another 4 episodes in the pipeline.
Approaching number 30 already.
Yeah, I guess I'll just surpass it and never retire. It's like I wanted the time off, man, but I'm never gonna get this time off.
I will never retire, in the words of Ric Flair.
Because me, it's like I was gonna end this year on a nice number 30, and now I'm gonna be like, well, I don't want to end on 31. That's a dumb number to end on.
You're flipping was OCD just kicks in. No, gotta do number 9. Gotta do number 9.
No, I gotta do the 50 now. Shit.
Okay, cool. So there's more in the pipeline, so be sure to check it out. There's a new one out currently. Who was it with, please?
It is with the Rev Pro female champion Alex Windsor.
That's the one.
Which has done very well, by the way. A lot.
I wonder why.
Yeah, well, it's 100 views on YouTube. We've got stuff from the Instagram as well. The 2 clips you posted, her about main event in the first women's match in Saudi, beating WWE.
Yeah, we don't care about that. You care
about the OnlyFans clip, don't you?
There we go. Yeah, I bet I got about 100,000 clicks.
4,678.
Yeah, it's climbing. Don't worry, it will climb. But yeah, that's a good look. That is a good look. Oh wow, there's a lot of reactions on there. Nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, be sure to go and check that out. And as always, be sure to follow us to get the latest updates. Other than that, I have been your host, Chaos. He has been Soul. Down below has been Ignacio. Until next time, guys. Peace.